गोविन्देति सदा स्नानं
गोविन्देति सदा स्नानं
गोविन्देति सदा स्नानं
गोविन्देति सदा स्नानं
गोविन्देति सदा जपम्
गोविन्देति सदा जपम्
गोविन्देति सदा जपम्
गोविन्देति सदा जपम्
गोविन्देति सदा ध्यानम्
गोविन्देति सदा
गोविन्देति सदा ध्यानम्
गोविन्देति सदा ध्यानम्
सदा गोविन्दकीर्तनम्
सदा गोविन्दकीर्तनम्
सदा गोविन्दकीर्तनम्
सदा गोविन्दकीर्तनम्
Before the discovery of Mars, before the landing of man on the moon, many people were not, at least science itself, the scientists themselves were not aware that one could actually go to the moon. Before the discovery of the aeroplane, before the discovery of the aircraft, one did not know that one could actually travel in the air. So till the discovery came, it was all a mystery. It was all a mystery only. But somewhere somebody is getting a drive from within that what seems to be impossible is also possible. ಮಂಗಳ ಗ್ರಹವನ್ನು ಗ್ರಹ ಅಂತ ಗುರುತಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಚಂದ್ರಮಂಡಲದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಹೋಗಿ ಒಂದು ವಿಮಾನದ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ಇಳಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ವಿಮಾನ ಅಂದರೆ ಏರೋಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆವರೆಗೂ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನಪ್ಪ ಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಗಾಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಅವನ ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಇತ್ತು. ಗಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಅಂದರೆ ಕಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ, ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಂಡಿಡ್ದ. Somebody somewhere, because of the high intellectual power and also the technological translation, they suddenly discovered this, and now today it's taken for granted. What was impossible those days, what was considered as improbable, impossible, unimaginable, today it is taken for granted. And already many people have booked their rooms in the space city also. They have booked their houses also in the space city. Not a joke, it's a reality. Many people have already bought places in the space. So now, what a difference, what a world. ಇವಾಗ ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಗರ ಕಟ್ಟಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕಾಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಗರದ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಮನೆಗಳು ಕೊಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮೊದಲು ಅಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಇವತ್ತು ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. What was looking impossible those days is now looking possible. Not only possible, it is taken for granted now. Earlier to book a ticket on a flight was something a great achievement. To book a ticket on a flight was a great achievement. Oh, I booked a ticket on a flight. And today it is almost like a bus ticket. One can easily book the ticket and travel anywhere in the world one wants. So So what is the difference which has come here? It is the difference of the discovery of the capacity of the human being, which is so vast. The intellectual capacity of the human being is so vast, it is unlimited, almost we can say unlimited. But the present day world is translating that intellectual capacity into something tangible. It's translating it into something tangible, then we are able to sit down and see. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬುದ್ಧಿಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಸೀಮೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಬುದ್ಧಿಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಿತಿನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಮಿತವಾದ, ಅಮಿತ ಅಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಎಲ್ಲೇ ಸೀಮೆ ಇಲ್ಲದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಬುದ್ಧಿಶಕ್ತಿ. ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಪ್ರಯೋಗ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ. ಪ್ರಯೋಗ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿ, today speaking in the mic is something very, very ordinary activity, absolutely ordinary activity. There is nothing very special about it. Taking a movie, capturing a video, these are all very day-to-day, every minute's affairs. Earlier it was not so. So all this has come only not by the discovery of everybody. Everybody does not discover. Somewhere 1, 2, 10, 20, they might have discovered, and then they were able to convince people, and then they were able to translate into a mass production. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತ, ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ತಬಲಾ ಯಾರು ಕಂಡಿದ್ರು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದ್ರ ಕಂಡಿದ್ದು ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವೇನು ಉಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. Who discovered the tabla? Nobody knows. But now we are playing the tabla, and it will be taken for granted that this is an instrument. Tabla, you have to pay money, get it, and then start playing. ಕಂಡಿಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ತಬಲಾ ಅಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಕಡಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಏನು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮರದ ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಆಕಾರ ನಿಶ್ಚಿತವಾಗಿದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಟುಗಳಿದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸುತ್ತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೊಡಿಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನು ಪೌಡ್ರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಕೈಗೆ ಹಚ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ, ತಾಳಗಳಿದೆ, ಆಲ್ ನೌ ಇಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್. So you see how gradually there is an evolution in the entire. But surprising thing is, with all the technological advancement, today, the one which is not discovered by anybody whom we know. We don't know who discovered yoga. We don't know who discovered meditation. But everybody has taken meditation and yoga as much more advanced and superior, and more beneficial for the human being than many other medications discovered in the recent past. How come so? ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಔಷಧಿಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಔಷಧಿಗಳು, ಸೂಜಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಬಳಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ವಿಶ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಯೋಗದ ಮಹಿಮೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಧ್ಯಾನದ ಮಹಿಮೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಫೌಂಡ್ that with all the discoveries done in the medical field, from the biological, from the physiological, the psychological is much higher. The psychological is a very, very, very higher realm which can control the physiology. ಮನೋವೈಜ್ಞಾನಿಕ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಎಂಬುದು ಶರೀರಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ತುಂಬ ತುಂಬ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಉಳ್ಳದು. Now if I tell you that I am going to quote a shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, which is already said. In the Bhagavad Gita it is already said, Indriyani paranyavuhu Indriyebhya param manah Manasastu para buddhi Yo buddhe paradastu sa. If somebody reads the shloka, the Sanskrit words they are, what exactly could they mean? The senses are more subtle than the body. The mind is subtler than the senses. The intellect is more subtle than the mind, and the Atma is the subtlest of all. This is the translation of the verse of Bhagavad Gita. The senses, ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳು ಶರೀರಕ್ಕಿಂತಲೂ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದವು, ಮನಸ್ಸು ಇಂದ್ರಿಯಗಳಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದದ್ದು, ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಬಂದು ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದದ್ದು, ಬುದ್ಧಿಗಿಂತಲೂ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದದ್ದು ಆತ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾವಾಗ? ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಾವಿರ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Now discoveries are being done in the mental realm. See, because we have taken for granted keyboard. You just have a keyboard and then slowly start typing something, you get it on the screen. But today, there is no need for a computer at all like this. The latest discovery is you have a small gadget here, and then with this gadget, you just have to maybe one small touch there, and the screen comes in the air. The screen comes in the air, you can just keep on typing here, you can see what you are typing. Latest discovery. So you see how gradually the gross is going away. The gross is becoming secondary, the subtle is becoming primary. Sukshma is becoming primary, and the gross, sthula, is going out to become secondary. Sthula ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇವರೆಗೂ ಈ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಬಳಸ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಲ್ಲ, ಗಟ್ಟಿಯಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕಬ್ಬಿಣ ಪದಾರ್ಥ, ಪ್ಲಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಪ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇವಾಗ ತುಂಬ ಸುಂದರವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹಿಡಿದು ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣದು ಸಿಕ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಕೀಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಈ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಂದೆನೇ ಗಾಡಿನಲ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಇದೆ. So what is happening now? That what we call as solid is no more important. The solid is not any more important. The virtual has become very important. Not real, but the virtual. And where is it going now? It is going more and more, and one is able to now read thoughts. Again, some information is coming now. One can read somebody's thoughts. One can read somebody's dreams. One can see the brain activity. One can actually assess the brain activity. All this is coming now. But ultimately, you remember, for all these things, the Sutradhara is human consciousness only. Behind all these things, what is that? The human consciousness, the Chetana Shakti. Because without the Chetana Shakti, there is no modification of anything. If something has to be changed, you know, we all, when we were all small, we played with paper rockets. All of us have played with paper rockets. ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಆಟ ಆಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಪುಸ್ತಕದಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಪೇಜ್ ಹರಿಯೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮತ್ತು ರಾಕೆಟ್ ಬಿಸಾಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಮಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ, ಆದರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇವಾಗ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು? ಪೇಪರ್ನ ಮಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಯಾರು? ಮನುಷ್ಯ ತಾನೇ ಮಡಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. Who is holding the paper? It is a human intellect. It is a human intellect which is holding the paper. It is a human which is modifying everything. And everything, all modifications of the inert, all modifications of the inanimate is being done by the animate. ಚೇತನವೇ ಜಡವನ್ನು ಬದಲಾಯಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. You take a stone, ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಲು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರು? ಶಿಲ್ಪಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಮ್ಮ ದೇವಸ್ಥಾನದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಲ್ಪಿಗಳು ನೋಡಿದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಲ್ಲು ಹೆಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ? ಬಂಡೆ ಕಲ್ಲು, ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಬಂಡೆ ಕಲ್ಲು. They take a rock like thing, maybe a cut, slightly cut, and then you start. Slowly start hitting it. Then you suddenly see some beautiful figures coming out. ತುಂಬ ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಮೂರ್ತಿಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು ತಗೊಂಡ ಹೆಂಗಿತ್ತು ಕಲ್ಲು? ಸಾಧಾರಣವಾದ ಕಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಉಳಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸುತ್ತಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಚಕ್ರ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಗಣಪತಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುರುಘ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬರೀ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ? ಮುರುಘ ಎಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಿರ್ಬೋದು? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಡಿತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸುಂದರವಾದ ಶಿಲ್ಪಕಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So the stone did not become Muruga, the stone did not become Ganapati, the stone did not become any other figure on its own. It had to have one consciousness to work on it. The coffee plant, coffee plant we have seen. The coffee plant, we did not know what was the coffee plant. It came from Europe. The coffee came from Europe. When it came here, they planted, it started growing in Coorg and all those places. And then now it's taken for granted. When you see the coffee, we don't even remember the coffee plant. What brand is this? Taste it. We taste the coffee and see, we don't even remember that it came from a plant. So much processing has gone through. But coffee has to give way. The coffee plant has to give way to be roasted. This coffee seeds have to allow themselves to be roasted. They have to allow themselves to be powdered. And then they have to allow themselves to be put in water and boiled. All this the coffee has to allow itself to do because it is jada. It is inanimate. Whereas the animate human being can do anything with that. Petrol, diesel, ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ ಯಾರು ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದಿಲ್ಲ ಈ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಬುದ್ಧಿನೇ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿದು. So you see the consciousness, how it is working on this so-called inanimate. It is working on modifying the world so many ways. Everything is taken for granted. Because there is we know that the intelligence has got so much capacity, but deeper and deeper inside the consciousness, the Chaitanya Shakti is what is being described in the scriptures. The root of everything. From where is all this arising? From where is all this intellect coming? And why does the intellect become suddenly sharp? And then when there is a small, unfavorable incident, it becomes blunt. When there is a very, very beautiful, pleasant experience, the mind is thrilled. When there is an unpleasant experience, it becomes completely dull. What is happening? Where is this working? ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ತುಂಬ ಸಂತೋಷವಾದ ವಿಷಯ ಬಂದರೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಏನು ವಿಷಯ, ಏನಾಯಿತು, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮಾವಿನ ಹಣ್ಣು ಸಿಕ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ. ಅಷ್ಟು ಆನಂದ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆನಂದ ಬಂದರೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ನೊಂದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಖದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ತೋರಿಸುತ್ತೆ, ಬಾಡೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಾದರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ರೆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಮುಖ ಬಾಡೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮವಾದ ಶರೀರ ಬಂದು ತುಂಬ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾದದ್ದು. That is what is being described here. If you want to travel to other lokas also, you can travel in the Sukshma Sharira. Provided you practice, provided you go to that extent. See now the description of the lokas are there. If on the other hand, O king, the yogi intends to visit the Brahma Loka, Brahma's abode, or having acquired the 8 supernatural powers, to sport in the company of the Siddhas, a class of celestial beings that move about in the air, or again to move about in any particular realm of the universe made up of the 3 gunas, modes of Prakriti, he should depart from the body, taking the mind and the senses with him. One can depart from the body, and one can choose where to go if you have the power. If one has developed the power, one can choose where to go. If now, in this world, if one has money, one can choose to go to any place. If one has money, one can choose to take any mode of transport in this world. So the choice of the mode of transport, the choice of the destination is done by the capacity we have. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಕೈಲಾಸ ಪರ್ವತಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇರೋದು. Same way, because the yogi has got Shakti, he can choose to go to any world he wants. He can go to Brahma Loka, he can go to Siddha Loka, he can go to any Loka he wants. It is said that the masters of yoga who practice worship of God, austere penance, yoga and jnana, and whose body is as subtle as air, can freely move inside as well as outside the 3 worlds, the earth, heaven and the lower world. The power of the yogi. Because when somebody describes something like this, it seems to be impossible, just like it was impossible earlier. Space travel is impossible, unimaginable. Now it is a normal affair. Same way now, when we read about this yogi, it looks like impossible. But it is possible when one practices yoga in the correct manner. When one practices yoga in the correct manner and develops all these powers, then it becomes easy. ಮೊದಲು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತರಿಕ್ಷ ಯಾತ್ರೆಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಅಪರೂಪವಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಅದೇ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇವಾಗ ಯೋಗಿಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ವೈಕುಂಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್. See, thousands of years have passed, but this Srimad Bhagavatam has not changed. Thousands of years have passed and Srimad Bhagavatam has not changed at all. The verses are the same. It has been transferred from mouth to ear. Bhagavan Vedavyasa has written this one. And it still is valid. It is still valid, and you will see still more things coming now. You will see how the Devatas travelled by Vimana in those days. How they travelled by spaceships those days. Everything will come here. People cannot have such unimpeded movement in any part of the universe through mere karma ritual. Only by doing karma, one cannot achieve these powers. Here the word karma has been given as ritual. It is not just ritual. when a person does a particular activity like a ಪೂಜೆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮನಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡದೆ ಹೋದರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮನಸ್ಸು ಪೂರ್ವಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅದರಿಂದ ಶಕ್ತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಜಾಗೃತವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್. ಹೌ ಡು ವಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್? ಏನೋ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಂಠಪಾಠವಾಗಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಯಾವುದನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಕಂಠಪಾಠ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು? ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಾಯ ವೇಧಸೆ ರಘುನಾಥಾಯ ನಾಥಾಯ ಸೀತಾಯ ಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ. ದಿಸ್ ಒನ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಐ ಸಾ ಐ ರೆಡ್ ಇಟ್. ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಚಂದ್ರಾಯ ವೇಧಸೆ ರಘುನಾಥಾಯ ನಾಥಾಯ ಸೀತಾಯ ಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ. It did not register. Then I applied my mind. I've got a Shakti called as memory Shakti. I've got a Shakti in me called as memory. ನನಗೆ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೆ ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ ರಾಮಭದ್ರಾಯ. Slowly went inside. An external matter in the form of some words is now being transferred into the memory here. How did it happen? There was a commitment. ಮನಸ್ಸು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣವೇ ಇದನ್ನು ಕಂಠಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಏನಾಯಿತು? ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ and I'm getting stored inside. It is not surprising to put a pen drive to the computer and transfer it to the computer. But see, when you sit down and start reading, when you start hearing, I want to learn a song. अब सौंप दिया इस जीवन का संभार तुम्हारे हाथों में. I read it. It was not learned by heart. Once again I heard. So repeated hearing. ಒಂದು ಹಾಡು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಂತ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮೊದಲು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಹಾಡು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಏನಾಯಿತು? ಮನಸ್ಸು ಕಂಠಪಾಠ ಆಗಬೇಕು. Now you see, the knowledge is not there in the book, it is there here. The knowledge is here. I have converted that knowledge into a software. It was a hard copy. The hard copy has been now converted to a soft copy. I can now change it also. No, I say Ramaya Ramabhadraya. When you say Krishnaya Vasudevaya, oh no, I know Krishna word, I know Vasudeva word. Instead of Ramaya Ramabhadraya, I say Krishnaya Vasudevaya. Hare Paramatma. I change the words now. All from the store inside. I've got a software inside working so beautifully. ಒಳಗಡೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಶ್ಲೋಕ ರಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. See how beautiful the power is. But we are only in the day-to-day affairs. We are using this power only for the day-to-day affairs of this gross world. But we are not using it for the further worlds. But when we read these, when we practice this, when we go to other worlds also. O King, the yogi who proceeds to the Brahma Loka, the abode of Brahma, through the bright Sushumna, reaches first the abode of Vaishvanara, the god of fire through the heavens. So when somebody wants to go to Brahma Loka, see, now who is traveling? Who is the person who is traveling? Not this body. Remember, this body is not going to travel because it has got its limitations. This body is a gross body. ಈ ಶರೀರ ಬಂದು ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರ. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರ ಅಂತ we have got two bodies. Actually we have three bodies, but now in this context we have the second body called as the subtle body or the astral body. The astral body only travels in the dream. ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಓಡಾಡೋ ಶರೀರ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದ ನೀವು ಮಲಗಿರ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ಮಲಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಲಗಿದ್ದ? ಪಾಠಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚಾಪೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಮಲಗಿರ್ತೀರ. ಆದರೆ ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿರ್ತೀರ? ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಓಡಾಡ್ತೀರ. ಕನಸಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾತ್ರೆ, ಈ ಶರೀರ ಸಮೇತ ಮಾಡೋ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾತ್ರೆ. With this body we travel differently, and with this subtle body we travel differently. The astral body we travel differently. We go to so many places unimpeded. Remember this word, unimpeded. There is no block at all. Doors cannot block us, walls cannot block us, distance cannot limit us. When we travel with the astral body, ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ದೂರ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಗೋಡೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು, ಭಾಗ ಮುಚ್ಚಿದ್ರೆ ಭಾಗ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ. ಅದು ಸ್ಥೂಲ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ. With this body I cannot walk through the wall, but through the subtle body I can travel everywhere. That is the astral body. So if one wants to go to the Brahmaloka, one touches the Vaishvanara Loka, that is the Agni Loka, and then goes to the Brahma. Shaking off whatever trace of impurity is still left in him, he then rises upwards to the stellar sphere, resembling in shape the figure of a dolphin and presided over by Lord Vishnu. It's looking impossible. Who can say, describe the stellar sphere as a dolphin? How did they find out that it's dolphin? See, this particular description is not a recent description. Remember, again I repeat, tens of thousands of years ago Rishi compiles and then writes. 10,000 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಋಷಿ, ವೇದವ್ಯಾಸ ಋಷಿ ವರ್ಣನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ವೈಕುಂಠಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅವನು. ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ ನಂತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಕ್ಷತ್ರ ಲೋಕ ಒಂದು ಮೀನಿನ ಆಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಡಾಲ್ಫಿನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಮೀನು ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಗರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಜಿಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಥರ ಜಿಗಿಯೋ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಮೀನು ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವನು ವೈಕುಂಠ ಲೋಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿಫುಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರಿಪ್ಷನ್ is going on. No, when you start practicing this, you will say, yes, what Vedavyasa Rishi said is true. He then rises upwards to the stellar sphere, resembling in shape the figure of a dolphin, and presided over by Lord Vishnu. Passing beyond this sphere, presided over by Vishnu, which is like a navel to the wheel of this universe, he ascends alone in the most subtle and pure body to the realm called Maharloka, the region immediately enclosing Indra's paradise, which is adored even by the lords of Brahma, and which is the delightful abode of gods that live for a whole kalpa, day of Brahma. Then from there, when he crosses the Vaikuntha Loka, it is Lord Vishnu. It's not Vaikuntha Loka, he is going to the stellar Loka, Nakshatra Loka. From the Nakshatra Loka, he is going to the Maharloka. Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swarloka, Maharloka. Now he is coming to the Maharloka, and in this Maharloka, what is there? The region immediately enclosing Indra's paradise. After the Swarloka, it's come to the Maharloka. He has crossed the Indra Loka and he has got the next Loka, which is adored even by the lords of Brahma, which is the delightful abode of gods that live for a whole kalpa, a day of Brahma. ಅಂದರೆ ಮಹರ್ಲೋಕ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರ ಓಂ ಭೂ ಸ್ವ, ಓಂ ಭೂ, ಓಂ ಭುವ, ಓಂ ಮಹ, ಓಂ ಜನ, ಓಂ ಭೂ, ಓಂ ಭುವ, ಓಂ ಸ್ವ, ಓಂ ಮಹ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಲೋಕಗಳ ಹೆಸರು. ಭೂಲೋಕ, ಭುವರ್ಲೋಕ, ಸ್ವರ್ಲೋಕ, ಮಹರ್ಲೋಕ. ಅದರ ಮಹಾ ಓಂ ಸತ್ಯಂ, ಸತ್ಯಲೋಕ. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಲೋಕಗಳಿಗೆ ಸೂಕ್ಷ್ಮ ಶರೀರದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಯೋಗಿ ಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. Thereafter, at the end of the kalpa, when he sees the whole world below being consumed by the fire proceeding from the mouth of Lord Ananta Shesha, he rises still higher to Brahma's abode, where the foremost among the Siddhas reside in their aerial cars, and which lasts for 2 parardhas, the full span of Brahma's life. Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayana.
Sriman Narayana Narayana Narayana.
Shriman Narayana Narayana Narayana.
Sriman Narayana Narayana Narayana.
Shriman Narayana Narayana सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग्